On behalf of E-MetroTel, welcome everybody here to the Why E-MetroTel for Call Center presentation. And I'm Brad Ford. I think I've talked to most of you at one point or another, product management leader. And we wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to share some of our call center capabilities, make sure people were aware of the functionality, and more importantly, we wanted to make sure that everybody understood why E-MetroTel for call center. That's a thing that we've been focused on here at E-MetroTel is just anytime we are talking about functionality inside the company or anything we do, we try and ask ourselves, why E-MetroTel? Like, why should E-MetroTel be doing this? And why would our customers, more importantly, why would our customers, want, for example, call center functionality from E-MetroTel? And the best people that we think to tell that story to is you, our resellers, because that's the first thing your customers are going to ask you as well. Actually, somebody is on an open mic. If they could mute themselves, that would be useful. But yeah, so why, they're going to ask you that question, and we want to equip you with the answers as to why E-MetroTel for call center in this case. So that's the focus of the presentation. In a nutshell, we think that a few of our customers have answered that question for us directly. The quote that I have there, we're a fully featured call center at a quarter of the cost compared to major competitors. That is direct quote, and particularly from one of our largest call center customers that we have. So just make sure that I'm on the screen here. So for today's presentation, just going to talk a little bit about who we are. I think everybody here is, quite familiar with that, so I won't spend a lot of time on that. But the overall focus, why E-MetroTel for call center, we're going to talk about how it's an integrated solution, talk about some of the feature capabilities, and then some of the upcoming enhancements we have in the area of call center functionality. So background, we've been around since 2009. International. I'm based in Calgary, and we have people across Canada, across US, and in international locations as well. All our hardware is designed and software is designed in-house. Our excellent technical support team is based in US and Canada, but we have most of you, I think, if not all, are part of our reseller team in North America and Caribbean, but we have resellers in Australia, Europe, and the Middle East, and patented technology, particularly around the XTIM functionality. So we like to look at our mission statement, and specifically, that's to be the leader in the emerging hybrid market, driving technology and getting there by driving technology and service through our local distributors and reseller communities. And I guess why we like to focus specifically on talking about the hybrid market is that with E-MetroTel, there is no confusion, I think, between whether you're customer needs drive you to a premise-based solution, a cloud solution, even a virtualized solution, or a combination thereof. Our functionality that we offer is the same in both cases, or in any of those cases. So you're not left with trying to figure out, which network topology is best for your customers. You make the choice only on your customer needs, not on the feature capabilities of the product. So switching to call center, that's important. Like that ability to be across any of the deployment models is important for call centers, because many call centers these days can be geographically dispersed, or they can be in a single building location. So wanted to make sure that was understood, but and that is one of the things that we bring to the table from a value perspective. Our recording capabilities, our reporting capabilities, cost we've mentioned, integration, unlimited queues, and the coming soon bubble there on Omnichannel. There's some other functionality that I've included in here in this presentation that we'll talk about. Those are things that we try and focus on and make sure that we're able to offer a broad set of capabilities focused on those values from a call center perspective. And obviously, call center functionality isn't new to E-MetroTel. We've had that functionality all along. We've got a large number of customers deploying it today, ranging from small, the smaller end of the spectrum, where many of our resellers, mentioned Alpha Telecom there. We use it ourselves, obviously, but we scale fairly large as well. If you haven't seen our latest video, I would suggest you drop in on our YouTube channel and see the video from the travel agent next door. They've talks about how they've leveraged E-MetroTel call center functionality as they've grown from a smaller organization to one that's on a global scale. With I think they point out they have about 1,000 travel agents in their organization. So it's well worth hearing what our customer has to say on that. And we've got a large number of other customers as well: City of Columbia, Carson Medical Group, All-Star Glass, more at the upper end of the scale. We've actually got one customer that I can't put on the chart. They don't tend to use their logo externally or have other references, but they've got about 1,000 seats and over 500 queues, just to give you a sample of how big our call center functionality can be. And they were the ones that I mentioned that one of the ones that said, quarter of the cost, but fully competitive. They were looking at, large competitors and chose us as their solution. So one of the things we bring to the table is integration. The call center functionality is fully integrated into the PBX, including all the building blocks that you need for call center, IVR, queues, recording, even the ability to push recordings out to a network attached storage device to manage your space and your archiving capabilities. Through our InfinityOne, we have real-time and historical reporting, manager supervisor capabilities, can really take advantage of InfinityOne, but there's a lot of things that are built into the call center functionality as well. And then, features and phones that are well suited to, particularly with XDIM, well suited to distributing agents and along with the general office employees and the mobile capabilities. So we've recently added Salesforce integration to InfinityOne. So, that's another tool in the integration book as far as when it comes to call centers. We also have external access to the call center database. So if there's reporting that somebody is trying to access that we don't have custom, pre-built reports for, you can take our entire database and build your own reports around it. And again, that's one of the, the key features that reference or unreferenced customer was able to take advantage of. They needed information presented in their own particular way, and they were able to get that access and build their own reporting from it. So, bottom line is that with the integration across all of the UCX capabilities, we think we have a broad set of building blocks for managing the customer experience. And, a basic example of that customer experience, if you look at the green line on the bottom half of the page, you've got, Mary calling in, she speaks Spanish, and so she had an IVR that gave her an option of connecting to somebody who speaks Spanish, and then that that path led to a choice of what type of information she needed to access. So she pressed 3, and she ended up in a queue specifically, answered by Robert, who is tech support and speaks Spanish. The upper one, Jordan called in. That call was routed based on caller ID. So as the call came in, we looked at the caller ID, and there was a route specifically focused on, her caller ID because she's a valued customer, pre-configured to immediately go to English tech support because that's, that's what she's calling in for most of the time. That caller ID is one way. It could be actually the DID that's dialed in. Could be, routing to Katie as well. So simple example of building the call center, and then it just grows exponentially from there, offering more pathways through multiple IVRs. We can have as many levels of IVR functionality as required. There's no limits there. There's no limits on the number of queues that you can build as well. So through that combination, again, sample customer, 500 queues, and they're quite happy with how those calls are being distributed across that. They serve all of North America, I believe, in their customer base. recording options, we have numerous paths to initiate the recording. When a call comes in on an inbound route, that route can have record on answer or record immediately, or never record. But from a call center perspective, if that route is involved in the call center, you might want every call coming in there recorded. You may choose just recording on a queue by queue basis. And you'll notice in the options for queue recording options, we have a selection of, and here we've used the uppercase WAV file, which is a compressed format, give you more capacity of recording storage on the device. If you wish to have a higher quality uncompressed, you can select that as well. And the recording can actually start off by indicating what the hold time for the customer was before before it was answered or not. And then if you're actually not normally focused on recording all your calls, if that's not a requirement for your business, then could you go on mute, please?
Sorry.
If you may want to just monitor particular agents, and so as you build their extension, you can decide to record all their inbound calls. So a lot of flexibility there. I've mentioned the network attached storage option. So as you know, if you have a busy call center and you want a lengthy historical record of those calls, maybe you're in the financial industry, then our external storage through NAS option is good functionality to have. It allows you to, on a regular basis, offload those recordings. It's peer-to-peer security, so you have to it's everything that's recorded on the UCX is secure, and then as we pass it, we would pass it to a secure storage device as well. And finally, I guess the other piece of the puzzle when it comes to recording is being able to run our automated cleanup on a regular basis as well, so that you only keep your storage for as long as your particular requirements are, and we'll take care of automatically cleaning those out. When it comes to playback, we have a built-in mechanism for being able to search for recordings by date. You would select queue, select the date you want, then download and listen to the files. And that's built right into the web-based configuration utility. Queue configuration, there's a lot of options here. I'm not about to step into and talk about every one of them, but I've highlighted, I guess, what some of the things that I think are very valuable from a customer experience perspective. You can identify, put a prefix in front of the caller ID information as it comes to a agent's display, so that if they're handling multiple queues, which they can do, either with they can be static agents or dynamic agents and log into all of their queues at once. If they have multiple queues, you put a prefix in, and then they know as the call is presented to them, specifically what the call is in context of. Music on hold class down there in the lower left-hand corner. Perfect way of being able to put targeted advertising on somebody that's waiting in the sales queue versus the support queue. And if they're in a queue that is focused on Spanish, then you could have do some recordings, that are properly suited from a language perspective as well. The on the right-hand side, report hold time is, we use that quite often, or in our call center. So, as the call is presented and an agent picks it up, they can find out, how long that caller's been on hold in the queue, because that might change how they, initially interact with the customer, if they happen to have been waiting for a significant time. I didn't mention on the recording, but we can, on a queue by queue basis, allow pause or resuming of that recording. So if the recording is already started and the customer is about to share some private information, that's covered by HIPAA perhaps, or recording a credit card information, then they can press a feature key, pause the recording during that exchange, and then restart the recording once that's done. Caller position announcements. I personally like this when I'm calling somewhere, and I like to know that I'm fifth in line, not 55th in line, and that might change how I interact with the IVR or with the call center functionality overall. Join empty. I've called in many times to call centers where it just rings and rings and rings because everybody's gone home. If everybody's logged out, our call center can route to overflow, and I'll know that the business is closed or whatever overflow that is. And then the IVR breakout menu. So perhaps putting specific information on every 30 or 60 seconds, so that you know that you aren't in that endless hold state, that there actually is some interaction going on. Anyways, a whole list of functionality there, too long to go through everything. But breaking out just some of the features on us that are kind of geared towards agents. The first one, the shift worker support from an agent availability perspective. That's something that was specifically asked for, and we responded to, where you might have a staff of 40 agents, but at any point in time, you have 20 in the daytime and 20 at nighttime, and they can log in and log out of the queue and have their own agent ID, so you can tell who it is that actually is on that shift. And your reports are not going to be based on a particular set of names. Are going to be based on an agent ID that may have worked during the daytime one shift and at nighttime on another one. So you can follow that worker as they go through, and that's accomplished through our hot desking functionality. Wrap time before the next call. That's gives the agent a chance to either calm their nerves or finish doing all their filing about that particular call. before they're put back into a ready state for getting another call. I mentioned the display caller ID with the queue name. With InfinityOne Wallboard reports or Wallboard capability, they can actually have their own Wallboard at their desk. Especially that's handy if they happen to be a remote worker. They can also see from the historical queue reports. They can access that data through InfinityOne as well. I mentioned the pause record, single key login for multiple queues. Saves you from logging in individually and overlooking one particular one, or unlogging out of all your queues with a single button as well. And ready not ready key, just again, just basic call center functionality geared towards the agent. Supervisor features, all the call recording capabilities that we mentioned are particularly suitable for supervisors being able to monitor the quality of their agents. They can be used for training those agents, and I mentioned record keeping and dispute resolution through having that historical information. Remote agent management through that same hot desking capability. If a supervisor finds that somebody was logged in for the day shift and failed to log out for the night shift, they can hot desk into that agent's ID and log them out remotely. So even if the agent is working from home or in a remote office, the supervisor can do that from anywhere. We have multiple ways that you can kind of keep tabs on as a supervisor on your agents, either through just having BLF keys, seeing on your phone, seeing their status through there, presence through InfinityOne, or even our Wallboard monitoring capability. They can provide those agents support, either using the listen or whisper capabilities, bridging the agent directly into the call, either in a listen mode or a talk to the agent. But not only that, they could actually, before they even get to that point, they could be, use InfinityOne messaging to ask an agent if they need assistance on a call when they see a particularly long talk time on a particular user. They can use screen share to help guide the agent in particular scenarios as well. And this is what I'm talking about as far as the integration of the whole portfolio of UCX and InfinityOne capabilities into the call center environment. Real-time and historical queue stats. I'll actually get to that in a couple of slides, but the managing that customer engagement capability by doing video conferencing for training of their agents, through our Infinity video conference server. Many ways that you can leverage all our capabilities to build better response to customers. And then from a call center manager perspective, if I'm the one responsible for building the call center, I've already talked about how you can build complex flows through the IVRs and queues. So that's one aspect for the call center manager. The entire integration we've talked about, and the queue controls. But there's more. So simplified employee on-ramp. What I'm meaning by that is leveraging our Infinity Phones provisioning for one touch or no touch provisioning of the new agent's phone. You have the phone sent directly to the customer. You know the MAC address of that phone, or not to the customer, I should say, to the agent. You know the MAC address of that. You do all the provisioning, of that agent's phone capabilities on the UCX. You point the no-touch provisioning server to their UCX, and when the employee gets the phone at their home, even all they do is they plug it into their LAN or connect it to their LAN, and through our no-touch provisioning, it will find the server that it needs to talk to. It will do a firmware update, so it's operating at the latest level. It will identify its MAC address to the UCX, and all of a sudden the phone will show that agent ID or extension number with all the keys already presented. So that's a significant simplification of that deployment. The fact that our XDIM does not require any the fact that our XDIM does not require any modification to the.
Okay. Well, what do you get? 10 of them? So they ship to Oklahoma, right?
Steve, could you please go on mute? Thank you. The fact that.
How did they arrive here?
I need to see whether I can. Yeah, I can mute. Okay. I muted him. Bottom line is that XDIM does not need any modification of somebody's home network in order to be able to find the server. You don't need to do anything from a firewall perspective or open any ports or anything like that. So another aspect of the simplified on-ramp. And then real-time and historical reporting is another key piece. I'm going to get into that in the next slide. Those are all the, what I would classify as the call center manager features. Everything we've talked about so far, and then these upcoming discussion on real-time and historical reporting. So our wallboards, I've mentioned it a number of times. It's really real-time stats at a glance. You can see that it's able to be, it provides stats for a particular queue. In this case, we're looking at queue number 2. We can see, a simple graphic of how many calls are online, how many agents are online, how many are on a call that's not call center related, and how many are in a not ready state. So quick glance of that. Number of voice messages that are waiting against that queue. Longest wait time, total calls that queue has had during the last since the last reset of stats, how many were answered, how many were abandoned, and then for each agent you see their agent ID, their name, who they're talking to at a particular time, and is that a call center call or not? Are they just sitting there idle, or are they not ready? And then the amount of time spent on that particular call. So this is where if I saw somebody that if most of the calls are normally 5 minutes long, but I see somebody on a call center call that's 45 minutes, then I might shoot that person a message on InfinityOne, ask that agent if they need some assistance, and then I can use the listen or whisper capability to provide real-time guidance to that agent. Not only can you see one Wallboard report or one queue report on the Wallboard, you could actually have multiple, up to 9 queues shown on a single screen. So if I'm a supervisor specifically for one queue, I can have a lot of information on my display. If I'm maybe a manager of multiple supervisors, then I might want to keep tabs on all the queues that are associated with my team. So historical reports also available through InfinityOne. In this case, what you're seeing is a distribution report by the month. But we have a whole variety of reports available. You can initiate a single report of a particular type. It can be scheduled on a regular basis, weekly, monthly, daily, hourly in some cases. You can select one or more queues, and you can select one or more agents for those. And that's pushed out directly in the InfinityOne channel. The previous page was the distribution reports. We also have answered reports, so you can tell how many calls were answered by a particular agent, how many were answered in a particular queue. Unanswered, you can actually have abandoned information. So we use this quite often. Like we have reports set up that if a caller has abandoned in a queue, we'll get that pushed to us through a report, and somebody will take action to call that person back, because obviously they had a reason to be talking to us in the first place. Maybe something came up and they were interrupted and needed to go, but they probably still have the basic need to talk to us. So it's a way of also improving the customer experience as well. And then agent reports, their availability, disposition, and duration of their calls. Key stats that are used, for evaluating employee performance, evaluating, do I need more agents? Do I need more lines on my, coming into the queues, things like that. I mentioned that they're distributed via InfinityOne channels, but you can also set it up to push those reports by email as well. So, every morning I got a view of what calls were made the day before into our support line, as an example, or our sales channel. Through email. I mean, I can also look at it in InfinityOne, but I might not have access to my InfinityOne at that particular time. So switching gears a little bit, mentioned that I'd talk about some upcoming enhancements. One of the ones that is something that we've been asked numerous times for, is callback from queue. Basically giving a way of breaking out a caller, collecting their phone number information, and holding their place in the queue, and then calling them back. Exactly what the name implies. But so the example I showed here, caller calls in, told by the call recording that they have an unusually high call volume. Your caller number 50, as an example. If you don't want to wait, press 1. We'll call you when it's your turn. And they enter their 10-digit number. However long it takes to get through 50 calls later, they get a call back from the queue saying that their agent is ready to talk, press 1 or some number to indicate that yes, now is a good time for you to talk as well, and then it'll connect the agent when the agent is truly available. So that functionality is something we are working on, and the other area that I know a lot of you are interested in, and we've heard a lot of requests for as well, is Omnichannel capability. If you're not familiar with Omnichannel, basically it's being able to manage and interact with as a contact center as opposed to necessarily a call center. So a lot of businesses rely on texts or voicemails for ways of communicating with their customers through Facebook, WhatsApp, and so essentially we're building an interface that allows those messages to come through to InfinityOne framework and be able to identify the individual users through that, respond to them, and carry on a conversation to fulfill that particular customer's needs through their choice of how they've decided to contact the customer. Small business functionality, we've heard that those are the key functions for small business, SMS or text, Facebook and WhatsApp. Certainly SMS and Facebook larger in North America. WhatsApp is quite common internationally. So those are the interfaces we're starting with from a small business perspective. We manage that through a messaging gateway in our partner portal. Send it in onto that particular customer's site through UCX or through InfinityOne, I should say. Next step along the path would be moving to a more of a medium-sized business contact center where you'd have some routing and queuing capabilities, transferring from one agent to another, and of course doing some supervisory or analytic type information and historical to provide a more robust, I guess, set of tools that larger businesses are going to need as opposed to small business where we're starting from. As an example, this is information coming in on text messaging or SMS stream. Guest 2 initially just contacted the company through a text saying, "Can I get some pricing information?" Now we can go back to them, asking details, which product, which widget, providing all that, giving the customer what they need. But it could be that the message back is a graphic or a web page, whatever it is that the customer needs, communicated through that, and now you have a record of what was communicated across that text channel for anybody in the company to be able to see. So that's the key areas of new functionality that we're building. I'm hoping that I've helped answer the question for why E-MetroTel for call center. We have a full feature solution. It's mature. It's been around for quite some time, but we continue to evolve it. With the callback from queue as an example, transitioning to be able to be more of the contact center as opposed to just a pure call center. And again, we still provide that at a very scalable solution delivered very economically.